Welcome to our video on different types of assessment in English language teaching. In this movie, we will provide an overview of the various types of assessments that are available to teachers, as well as some tips on how to choose the right type of assessment for your students. We hope that this movie will be helpful in your quest to provide the best possible education for your students. When we think about assessment, we often think about tests and exams. However, assessment is much more than that. Assessment is any method used to gather information about what students know, understand, and can do in order to make decisions about their learning. It includes everything from informal observations made by the teacher during a lesson to formal standardized tests administered at the end of a course. There are many different types of assessment, each with its own advantages and disadvantages. In this section, we will take a closer look at some of the most common types of assessment used in English language teaching. Classroom-based assessment is an integral part of teaching and learning. It provides information that can be used to improve instruction and identify areas where students may need additional support. Classroom-based assessments can take many different forms, including quizzes, tests, projects, and presentations. When selecting a classroom-based assessment, it is important to consider the purpose of the assessment and the type of information you are hoping to obtain. For example, if you are looking to assess students' understanding of a concept, a quiz or test might be most appropriate. If you are interested in assessing students' ability to apply what they have learned, a project or presentation might be more suitable. There are many benefits to using classroom-based assessments. They can be administered quickly and easily, and they provide immediate feedback that can be used to adjust instruction. Additionally, since they are typically less formal than standardized assessments, they can help create a more relaxed and comfortable learning environment. Standardized assessment is a type of assessment that is administered in a consistent manner across a large group of test takers. This type of assessment is often used to measure student achievement in academic subjects such as English language arts and mathematics. Standardized assessments are typically high-stakes tests, meaning that they have important consequences for students, educators, and schools. There are several advantages to using standardized assessments. First, they provide a way to compare the performance of students from different schools and districts. Second, they allow for the comparison of student performance over time. Third, standardized assessments can be used to identify areas of strengths and weaknesses in the curriculum. Finally, standardized assessments can be used to hold schools and districts accountable for student learning. There are also some disadvantages to using standardized assessments. First, they can be expensive to administer. Second, they can be time-consuming for both students and educators. Third, standardized assessments often focus on narrow aspects of learning, such as multiple-choice questions about factual information. Fourth, the results of standardized assessments can be stressful for both students and educators. Despite the disadvantages, standardized assessment is an important tool for measuring student achievement and holding schools accountable for student learning. Alternative assessment is a type of assessment that is not limited to traditional methods, such as paper and pencil tests or standardized exams. Instead, alternative assessment encompasses a wider range of activities, such as portfolios, student presentations, and performance tasks. Alternative assessment has several advantages over traditional methods. First, it allows for a more comprehensive evaluation of student learning. Second, it is often more engaging for students, which can lead to better motivation and improved learning outcomes. Finally, alternative assessment can provide valuable feedback to teachers about their instructional practices. Despite these advantages, alternative assessment does have some drawbacks. First, it can be time-consuming to develop and administer. Second, it can be difficult to score and interpret results. Finally, alternative assessment may not be appropriate in all situations, such as when high stakes are attached to the results. When used appropriately, alternative assessment can be a powerful tool for evaluating student learning. When it comes to assessing English language learners, educators must take into account the unique challenges that these students face. English language learners are often at a disadvantage when it comes to standardized assessments, as they may not have the same level of English proficiency as their native speaking peers. Classroom-based assessments can be more effective in measuring the progress of English language learners as they allow for more individualized instruction and assessment. Alternative assessments, such as portfolios and oral presentations, can also be used to assess the progress of English language learners. These types of assessments allow students to showcase their knowledge in a way that is more accessible to them. When assessing English language learners, it is important to remember that they are still learning the English language and that their level of proficiency may not be the same as that of native speakers. Assessment is a critical part of any language program, and English language teachers need to be aware of the different types of assessment available to them. Classroom-based assessment is the most common type of assessment used in language programs, but standardized and alternative assessments also have their place. Assessing English language learners can be challenging, but there are a number of resources available to help teachers.